Hey there, gang. Working on my pull list for November 2020, deciding what comic books I will be buying that month from IDW, Boom Studios, and Dynamite. Those are the three companies we will be looking at in this video. And spoiler warning, I'm not buying anything from any of them. So this video is mostly going to be me just going through the previous catalog and telling you why everything from those companies sucks. So if that sounds appealing to you, well, please do stick around. Hey there, Bubby. Welcome to Shanghai. My name is Duke, and this is the pull list. It's when I go through the previews catalog and decide what I am going to be buying 2.5 months from now. Advance orders made at my local comic book store. In my case, that is .com Comics and Collectibles in Freeport, Maine. In this video, we will be looking at IDW, Boom Studios, and also Dynamite. We'll go through it pretty quickly because turns out, I've already gone through this catalog a little bit. I'm not going to be buying anything from any of those companies. So it's basically, this video is just me going through, telling you why I'm not buying this, that, and the other thing, and inviting you in the comments below to maybe tell me why you think I'm wrong. If there's something from one of these three companies that you think is great, you want to take exception of what I say in this video, please do that, because I'll try a book based on your recommendation, but you're going to have to turn me around, because right now there's nothing from any of those three companies that I intend to buy in November 2020. So if you if you like listening to me dish on your favorite book and telling you why it's no good, then please do like, share, subscribe. Even if that pisses you off, you know what? Like, share, subscribe anyway, or give me a thumbs down. That's fine. As I keep saying in these videos, it's a brand new channel, and I can really use the support, at least in terms of waking the algorithm to my existence. So give me a thumbs down if that's what you want to do. All right, let's go through this pretty quick. We are at IDW right now. Lock and Key Sandman, Helen Gone #1. It's a gem of the month. So what? I never read the Lock and Key comic book, and I tried watching the TV show, and I only got about 4 or 5 episodes in, and I just lost interest. It was one of those things that, and I said this in the last video about The Witcher. I could never get totally immersed in it. I could never lose my suspension of disbelief enough that I felt transported to that world. I could never escape the feeling that I was watching the production of a TV show, And I don't know exactly why that is, because it's not like the production values or the acting or anything like that was that bad. It just didn't grab me. So what do you think? What do you think of the Lock and Key TV show? Did you watch it? Did you like it? Of course, the other thing, too, is Joe Hill. And I'm from Maine. And Joe is Stephen King's son. And Stephen King is, of course, Maine. Maine is, lobsters, lighthouses, and Stephen King. And I'm not a fan of Steve. I've never really been a great fan of his writing. I've read a few books here and there. They're okay. They're not great literature, but, some of them are fun. But he's just such a woke SJW nightmare, and I get so sick of his Twitter feed, especially dishing on, any and all Republicans. He's one of these people that, if you've got an R next to your name, and I actually don't, I consider myself a libertarian. I'm not registered in any political party, but just if you have an R next to your name, you are a racist, alt-right, white nationalist, troll bigot who wants to destroy the economy and all different diversive people, and why not, hell, just to throw it in the planet. Everybody who's not a Democrat is just pure evil in Stephen King's mind, and I just fuck him, basically. So you know what? By extension, fuck Joe. Sorry, Joe. Guilt by association, I guess. Star Wars Adventures, yeah, okay, whatever. Uh, I'm over Star Wars. I was over Star Wars after Return of the Jedi. I didn't even like the prequels. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Well, here's another thing where the creator, or I mean, one of the original creators, Kevin Eastman, is from Maine. And actually, I was a newspaper reporter for 15 years, and for the first 6 years of that, I covered a school district where Kevin Eastman's uncle was the superintendent, and I didn't know that until like the last few months of my tenure there, which was actually the last few months of his tenure as well, which might have been why he finally told me. But nothing against Kevin or his uncle, but I just never got into the Turtles. I remember, I think I saw one of the first issues when it first came out at a comic book store in Waterville, Maine, and I was just like, "What the hell is this? This is trash. This is never going anywhere." And well, I guess I was wrong, wasn't I? So Donatello. So what? Ninja Turtles 111. So what? And there's a guy I know here who shops at the store. The company I work for owns the shop where I get my books. One of the customers there is, hi, Michael. How are you? If you're watching this video, he's a big, big, big Turtle fan. And so I don't mean to offend you, but hey, we've all got our different things. I'm sure Michael isn't into the Legion of Superheroes at all. Arms fall off boy means nothing to him. Voyager, that's nothing to me. Star Trek, nothing to me. I generally don't go in for Star Trek, Star Wars, any of that other media stuff in comics because it just seems to me like it doesn't matter. Voyage to the Stars, don't know what that is. Looks like some kind of manga take on Star Wars. I don't know. Not for me. Sea of Stars, don't know anything about that other than I think it's interesting that we've got Sea of Stars over at Image by Jason Aaron, and now we've got Sea of Sorrows. So I guess we will get the Seven Seas eventually. Scaranthood? Don't know what that is. Full Bleed. I read the solicitation and it makes a big deal out of it being the last issue. And it looks like something I might be mildly interested in, other than the exorbitant price. But I never even knew it existed. Was it published at IDW before or someplace else? I never even heard of it before. G.I. Joe, I just, and this is the problem, with a company like IDW that has a lot of licensed properties. It's sort of dependent on you liking or having some nostalgia for those licensed properties. And with G.I. Joe, I don't. If this was based on the original G.I. Joe line, I might. But the line that came along in the 80s, I was kind of too grown for G.I. Joe at that point, and so I never got into the toys. And I also, because I was into the Mego action figures as a kid, and I know this isn't exactly how it happened, but I faulted the little 3-inch Star Wars figures, and by extension, the similarly sized G.I. Joe figures for killing the Mego line, which I felt and still feel was infinitely superior in every way. So I have no nostalgia for G.I. Joe, even though I understand that, Larry Hama writing, it's probably pretty good. It's just not my thing. Transformers Back to the Future. Well, that's, and I did try IDW's Back to the Future book, the first one that came out, and it was meh. It was, I don't think I even finished the miniseries. Transformers, again, a similar case to G.I. Joe. That's a toy line that came along after I had already discovered girls and wasn't too into toys anymore. I never outgrew comic books, but I did outgrow my Micronauts and my Matchbox. Of course, the other thing, too, those toy lines, we had a house fire when I was just going into junior high school, or what we then called junior high. You would probably call today middle school, the 7th grade, and lost all of those toys that I had. And so, that was another reason why I didn't keep buying toys. I had kind of a hard break there, and I think maybe if I still had all my old toys, I might have kept at buying toys, asking mom and grandma for toys and things like that a little longer, and might have got into those lines, but yeah, like I said, I had a heartbreak. Uh, Little Pony, I don't get the bronies. They're just weird to me. Goosebumps, I have heard that the Goosebumps book is not that good, but that's something else that is somebody else's nostalgia. Same with Sonic, doesn't speak to me at all. These Marvel books, the problem with this, a lot of people keep saying, this is evidence that Disney is going to stop publishing Marvel and outsource it to IDW. Well, IDW is right on the financial brink, so I can't see Marvel outsourcing to them. But these are all supposedly, aimed at, young teen readers. And the problem with that is, I started reading comic books when I was 5 or 6, and I grasped the concept of the multiverse, and I wasn't that particularly precocious, but a comic book that's aimed at younger readers today just seems like it's aimed at not especially bright kids with Down syndrome or who've been lobotomized. I don't want to say retard, but yeah, let's go full retard and actually say retard. That's what young reader books seem like they're aimed at. So it's not surprising to me they don't sell. Johnny Boo and the Silly Blizzard. Well, this is, of course, it's a bigger book and a smaller package, 6x9. $9.99. This is the kind of thing that's actually taking off in the market right now. All of these kind of young adult, young reader books that are more book than floppy, that are like aimed through Scholastic. And this is why I keep saying that I predict before long, Comcast via NBC Universal, via DreamWorks Classics, is going to get into the comic book business. Because what is this? This book at young readers? It's basically Casper, right? That's somebody doing a Casper book because Casper doesn't exist right now. So, DreamWorks, Classics, NBC, Universal, Comcast, whatever corporate division does the decision making there, I think they're going to get into comics because they're really losing out on a market that they could really grab a big healthy chunk of. Parenthesis. Okay, well, I wouldn't add this book anyway because I get so many of the floppies that I'd have to cut out 6 or 7 books from my monthly purchase in order to add in a graphic novel or a trade paperback. But this is crap. I mean, this looks to me like the kind of thing the New Yorker would put on its list of 10 best comic books of 2020, which tells me it is 100% absolutely and for certain not for me. Usagi Yojimbo, I'm glad that exists. I was never able to get into Usagi. I wanted to. I tried it for a long time. Couldn't do it. Steve Cannon, that's a Milton Caniff. That's something I would buy if it didn't cost $50. Comic book history of animation. That just seems weird to me. We're going to celebrate moving pictures with a book of pictures that don't move. Yeah, okay. Float your boat. Dungeons and Dragons at the Spine of the World. I don't have any expectations there. So that's it. That's IDW. Nothing I'm buying there. Dynamite. Lord love a duck, do I hate Dynamite. Just because 47, 48, 50,000 covers of a book that's not particularly good, and nobody even cares about the book. They just get the alternate covers and try and get it in a 10-0 and send it off to CGC unread because they think they're going to make $1 million off this book someday. Well, I'm here to tell you, pal, you ain't never going to pay your mortgage off with an alternate cover from Dynamite. So I'm glad you think so. You're keeping Dynamite in business, but I don't know. Dynamite, yeah, that's clever. But Dynamite is just, there's some neck gaiters, hooray. Dynamite is just nothing but alternate covers. They literally print more covers of a book than pages to the book. Now, Betty Page, yay, Betty Page, love Betty Page. I don't think there's anything to write home about as far as the comic book of Betty Page, other than the fact, you get a photo cover, maybe, if your store will order enough issues. See, that's another thing. Like, even if I wanted one of these books, my store isn't going to order enough issues, enough copies to get an alternate cover. So, and I'm not just bitter because of that. I mean, I do honestly and sincerely think that many alternate covers to a book, I think that's a bad thing. I think in the long run, it hurts the industry because it is promoting the wrong kind of comic book buyer and the wrong kind of activity within the collecting community. It's just everything that's bad about comics. The Boys, I never got into the comic book because it just seemed like it was going to be based on the original Solicitations, this kind of grim and gritty thing. And I didn't even like that in the 90s. And Garth Ennis, hot and cold with me. I do like the TV show, but what can we say here? Green Hornet, Scott Lobdell, yeah, okay. But I don't know. I would like to like a Green Hornet book, but I'm just not going to buy one from Dynamite. Mars Attacks Red Sonja. Well, again, clever title, but it's going to come out with more covers than pages. The Death of Nancy Drew. Now, if somebody did a movie or TV series called The Death of Nancy Drew, I bet that would get a lot of attention, like on Netflix. But I don't see it really doing well as a comic book. Clash of Kings, George R.R. Martin. Hey, George, why don't you finish Game of Thrones, okay? Do that. Do that, please. Red Sonja, I don't even particularly like any of those covers, even if I wanted them. Deja Thoris. And this is, again, the thing with Dynamite. It's gotten to, are these Dynamite books or are they Avatar? It's all, not even cheesecake. It's all just, it's basically eye porn, Here we go, Vengeance of Vampirilla. There's nothing going on in the books themselves. I mean, if you're reading a Dynamite book and you actually like what's inside the book, let me know. Let me know why, because I've looked at a few. The interior art doesn't speak to me, doesn't seem that great. The stories don't seem that great. They're just all about the alternate covers and the and again, not even cheesecake, because there's a certain level of artwork to cheesecake. This is, a lot of their stuff is just softcore porn. And so that's it for Dynamite. Nothing in Dynamite for me. All right. Boom Studios. Now, Origins #1 of 6. I don't know who Clay McLeod Chapman is, or Jacob Rebelka, if I'm saying that right. But the book itself sort of looks interesting to me. This dystopian, dysfunctional world here where society has collapsed. Okay, granted, that's a trope that's getting a little old, but it could be interesting. This looks intriguing. Here's my problem with this book, and I talk about decompression a lot, enough to the point you're probably sick of it. This is a 32-page book, okay? Not a lot of ads in a boom book, so it's probably going to be, 23, 24 pages of story. Here's 4 pages. So we're talking, what are we talking, a sixth of the book. 4 pages here, nothing happens. 4 pages are used up on what could be a 6-second camera shot, the camera pan moving in. If this was a TV show, you'll use up 4 entire pages, a sixth of your book, on a 6-second camera pan. That's way too decompressed. And I don't care how much narration there happens to be on these pages, because it's all going to be just kind of set up and, explaining the world. It's not going to be actual story. It's going to be an exposition dump of some kind. So that's decompression in action. That's the bad decompression. That is, this whole sequence here of 4 pages would have been more effective as one page. This could be a cover, and these 3 pages could have been done as one page. Could have been done as one panel, frankly. Okay, Mighty Morphin, even if they're not Power Rangers, and we're just going to call it Mighty Morphin. That's not for me. Power Rangers 1. Oh, look at that. Isn't that clever? Instead of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, we're going to do Mighty Morphin 1 and Power Rangers 1. Why don't we do Mighty 1, Morphin 1, Power 1, and Rangers 1? It's so stupid. Berserker, there's the Keanu Reeves book that is getting all of the consternation online. I think properly. I'm not sure that crowdfunding a book like that is really the way to go. That's using Kickstarter as an advertising tool, because there was never a chance Boom was not going to publish Berserker, especially being done by Keanu Reeves. They were always going to publish that. It's not like they needed to use Kickstarter to trying to determine if there was enough market interest to move forward. It was basically a way to goose sales. It was an advertising medium. And in that sense, it wasn't a bad idea, because left to its own devices and just the traditional means of advertising a comic book and the solicitation and previews, it might have done, even with Keanu on it, 30 or 40,000 copies, and now it'll do a couple 100,000. So you can't fault them, but I don't think that's the proper use of that platform. Maybe Kickstarter needs to divide into 2, like a Kickstarter to start projects from folks who may not be able to get a book going otherwise, without advance sales to potential readers, and maybe like a jump starter, which is just an additional advertising medium. I don't know. We only find them when they're dead. Okay, well, I have no idea what that's about. If you're buying that book and you think it's great, let me know. 7 Secrets, this tells me nothing. So I guess we'll pass on that. What's in future? It's Karen Gillan. Might be okay. Don't know anything about it. Something is Killing the Children. I think I bought the first couple of issues and I never got around to reading them. So if you think I missed out, let me know. An Unkindness of Ravens. Okay. No idea what that's about. Claus, The New Adventures of Santa Claus. I don't know why it's got an Eisner nominee. Oh, it's a trade, so I guess it's something that's already been out and I've never heard of it. Red Mother 10, Faithless 6. These are things I don't know anything about. Dune. Firefly. I'm a big Firefly fan. Going way back to when the show first came out. The very first episode, I was right on board. But I have purchased all of the Firefly comics up till now. Again, largely because they have the backing of the mighty Joss Whedon, and so it doesn't feel like they're going to be invalidated if and when he ever did another show. Although Firefly is not coming back, I don't think at this point. But this series I did drop. I did drop it because Craig Pak, I just didn't feel like he was capturing the voices of the characters. And all of the issues were decompressed to the point where, again, you read a book in about 8 or 9 or 10 minutes. That's not good enough for $4. You've got to give me something more. And nothing would really happen in a single issue. So it broke my heart to do it, but I finally just dropped Firefly. Buffy was something I was never into other than the original movie. Willow, if you like that, good for you. Angel and Spike. Mega Man, if that's your thing, great. Lumberjanes, I guess they've canceled and some people are pissed off about it, but I couldn't tell you what Lumberjanes is about, frankly. I think of the Lumberjanes because I did read Paper Girls, and so I think of Lumberjanes as kind of like the Golden Age Paper Girls, like the Earth 2 Paper Girls. And Paper Girls is apparently in development as a movie. I don't know about Lumberjanes, and that's it. So that's it. That is Dynamite and Boom and IDW. So the next video, we will go through the rest of the catalog with all of the small independent publishers, and I'll let you know what, if anything, I will be buying there. Spoilers, couple things I'll be buying, a lot of things I'll be hating on. So if you are into that, please do come back. Until then, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.